The girl had just finished her shower and was sitting on the bed when she heard a knock at the door. She thought it was her boyfriend returning, but when she opened the door, she saw a strange man. His eyes roamed greedily over her, sending chills down her spine. Then, without warning, the man stripped off his clothes and lunged at her. She struggled desperately. Downstairs, her boyfriend happened to glance up and saw shadows moving violently behind the curtain. Sensing danger, he dashed upstairs, grabbed a tablecloth, and tackled the man to the ground. Then he mounted him and unleashed a furious barrage of punches. The girl was so shaken that she stood frozen in fear, not daring to stay in their home any longer. The couple spent the night huddled in a dark corner outside. The next morning, they went to the police station to report the crime. But once they arrived, the officers took Mike aside. The moment they learned that the girl had a mental disability, an older officer had her coat removed. She clutched herself anxiously, trembling with fear. Meanwhile, based on Mike's statement, the officers were finally able to piece together a key detail about the suspect, a man with a star tattoo on his right hand. But as soon as they identified him, they realized something terrifying. The suspect was none other than their own captain. At that very moment, he stood just outside the interrogation room, watching everything unfold. The captain turned the tables, accusing them of blackmail and assaulting an officer. But he was furious. He lashed out at his men, cursing them all, then ordered them to keep an eye on the couple. He would handle the case once he calmed down. With a sinister expression, he strode toward the interrogation room and took a seat across from the girl. She shrank back. Meanwhile, Mike's eyes drifted toward a photograph on the wall. Something was very wrong. But before he could react, another officer had stepped in behind him. Without hesitation, he lunged toward the interrogation room. Kicking open the door, he was met with a horrifying sight. But before he could strike, the officers restrained him. When the girl's identity was finally verified, the room fell into an eerie silence. They framed Mike for assaulting an officer and theft. Then the cops unshackled him, fired a blank round into the air, and pressed his fingerprints onto the gun. Mike was found guilty of assaulting an officer and sentenced to 6 months in prison. He didn't resist anymore. To everyone else, it seemed like he had accepted his fate.